Right, ladies and gents, today we're doing a Pinzgauer Synergy suspension. So we're looking at doing front springs, front shocks and rear springs. There's no shocks on the rear, we'll explain that further in the video. There's no Pinzgauer here at the minute, you might notice that by the lack of a massive black vehicle, but it is coming, and on its way with it is a 27mm spanner which I desperately need, and 3 sausage and egg butties, otherwise this job's not getting done. Pinzgauer's here. So as stated, today we're going to change the springs and the shocks. Now, the springs that are on the front that we've got are genuine, that have come in, and same for the rear as well. But we are testing some new Bilstein prototype shocks out. So we don't know if they're going to be any good or not, but we will find out later on. The Pinzgauer itself runs off a central tube chassis, which means that it's independent suspension. The difference is, like a normal Land Rover independent suspension, you've got your upper and your lower control arms. This is now a half axle. So it's like a beam axle that flexes in the middle instead of at the end. There's nothing else to do now, we're going to start taking it apart and break it. So normally with independent suspension, you lose quite a bit of travel in the shock. And as you can see with the Pinzgauer, that's not really the case. The jack's pretty much fully extended now, there's a little bit left, and the wheels only just come forward.
I'm off.
Step 1, remove wheel. Have you done that?
Yes, right.
Insert mounting device.
Oh, you don't undo that pinion because it's sat on it.
Oh, but you're enjoying it. So now we've got the wheel off, we can take a good look at the front end of this Pinzgauer suspension. So just like any vehicle, you've got a spring and a shock absorber, but there are quite a few differences between any other vehicle and the Pinzgauer. So the spring itself is extremely heavy duty, as you can imagine, with it being a 3.5 ton vehicle capable of carrying up to 7 ton. Same again with the shocker. But the key component of this is where the spring sits on the spring seat is pivoted by this bolt here. So on the half axle itself, you've got this bolt which then leads to the spring seat, which allows the bottom of the spring seat to move, which gives much better performance off-road and higher grip levels when travelling fast down forest tracks. And is now on day 4. So this is the bolt that holds this shock to this half axle. It runs through the half axle, through the shock, and then onto the end. Now these are tightened up from factory with 200 Newton meter and Loctited. So we've had the 1/2 inch Milwaukee impact driver on it for about 3 days, that didn't work. And then in the end we've just decided to get the biggest piece of scaffolding we could possibly find, lock off the rear of the bolt, and either decide we're going to snap the bolt out and then worry about that afterwards, or it'll come out happily. Luckily it's come out happily, so we can crack on now with removing the spring from the spring nut that's underneath, or the spring bolt that's underneath it, and then have a fight with the interior of the vehicle to get to the top shock bolt. But that should be a little bit easier. Please stop yanking on things. spring's out now. Just to reiterate what I was saying before, this is your spring bolt, this is your spring seat. So the spring sits on top of here on the vehicle, and then this sits on top of the spring bolt, which allows loads of flexibility within the system itself. Again, these are 200 Newton meters and the Loctited in, so where this is on the axle, on the half axle itself, you're not getting it off without a 7-foot piece of pipe.
You twitching yet?
No. Listen. Right, so we needed 4 spring compressors with these. I don't care how heavy duty your Land Rover springs are, there's nothing in the world like a Pinzgauer front spring. So we've got it back in now. We've greased up the spring bolt, fitted the spring seat in there, and then eventually got the spring in minus 1 finger. But yeah, we should be good to go. The shock's not connected up yet because we're going to have to put the wheel back on so we can get back inside, rip the interior out so we can get to the top mount for the shock absorber, and then we should be good for this side. 6 hours in.
Oh yeah, baby.
Pinzgauer shock absorber, easiest thing in the world, man.
Right, this is moving slightly. Give me a second. Might be able to get this on it now. Oh yeah.
Yeah?
That's what I need, baby. Yeah.
I got a drink.
Say when?
Yeah.
That's what she told.
We need another little pot.
Yeah, it's freed off now.
Definitely.
Yeah, a minute, I'm still need the bar.
I got a drinking problem because of her.
So what we've discovered is that everything on this is supersized. So that's why everything's a nightmare to get off. But as difficult as it can be to work on, it means that you never really have to work on it because everything's really, really strong. We're good.
Shit, don't break.
This is the original shock that come with Pinzgauer. A company called Sachs made these. I think they're a German company. You can still buy them, however, they're extremely expensive, just like everything else with Pinzgauer. So, some genius at Bilstein has come up with a prototype shock just for the Pinzgauer. The differences are these bushes and the spacer that comes with them. They're vulcanised rubber as well, so you can't really change the bushes like you can on a normal shock. However, they're a prototype, but if they're made by Bilstein, they should be good. Let's throw them on and have another fight with it. So, new shock is in, just tighten up the top bolt for it now, and we're going to go FT. Yeah, definitely easy. Driver's side's always easy, so it's been a long day. We've changed one front left spring and we've changed both shocks on the front as well. So we took the front left spring off, measured it up against the new one, massive sagging, and then we changed the shock because that was shot and figured, well, let's be honest, if one's gone, it's more than likely the other one's gone. So we've changed the shock on the right hand side of the vehicle as well. The whole truck itself is now about 40 millimeters higher and it's leveled itself out. So there's a 3mm difference between the left and the right on the front, and there's a 6mm difference between the left and the right on the rear, but I'm not too bothered about that. The rear shocks are airbags. So that system all runs off an air compressor, it's all very clever, but it's also got a leveling sensor in it. So I'm pretty confident that when we fire it up, it's all going to level itself out perfectly and be bang on. This is the shock I was on about. It's basically just a massive airbag, and again, that's all self-leveling with the little sensor that's on there and the air compressor. So yeah, I think we're going to be okay. Now the vehicle has lifted, the camber of the wheels has come in, which is normal on any Pinzgauer anyway, but we have noticed it's not significantly more, but there is a little bit more camber on the wheels. So we can solve that now by reducing the size of the bolt that the spring seat sits on. They come in 5 different sizes, and this is the biggest that was fitted to this from standard anyway. So we're going to knock that down to maybe a 3 or a 4, because there's just a 5 notch, we might go to a 3 or a 4 notch, and then that should bring the front end back down again, but still, now the new shocks are on, we'll be able to go around the corner without it feel like it's going to tip over. So that's the Pinzgauer job nipped. She's all level, she's all true. It may change once we've driven it around a couple of roundabouts, things like that, and it might bed out a little bit differently, but we'll find that out later. We might have to put the other springs on if we need to, but at the minute I'm pretty confident we're going to be good to go. Right, ladies and gents, thank you very much for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe, show all your friends. If you've got any trucks that need working on, whether it's repairs, modifications or full overland builds, give me a call. Me and the boys will get down here and we'll get right on it and build you something special, just like we have done with this one of only 2 Pinzgauers in the world. Thank you very much.